This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Regina Lee.
Well, hello, Ashley. Welcome to the show. It's so nice to have you today.
Thank you, Regina. Great to be here.
I am super excited because you have a job I'm kind of jealous of. The name of your business is Fun Time to Travel. And how true is that? Another cool thing about you is you were born and raised right here in Charlotte. So you're one of the rare people that I believe they call them unicorns. So very fun because I've been here a long time as well. So let's start out because I've looked at your career path. How in the world did you get into this?
That's a really good question, Regina. It's been such a fun path, but I have a background that is so far from the travel industry, but it has been one that has been a lot of fun to get here. My background is actually 25 plus years in the medical device world. And in that world, it was amazing. The people I got to meet along the way, the relationships I've developed and still have to this day. But what I really loved, I think, about that world and that industry was at the end of the day, I know that I helped a lot of people. And when you would see patients that would actually say, "Hey, thank you. I got this product of yours," or "I am getting this product of yours," it really, really means a lot. And I loved what I did, but I'm blessed to have two elderly parents that also needed some attention. And with what I did, I was on the road a lot and just could not develop the time to my parents that needed it. And my husband was working, my son was away in Colorado in college, and I had to make the difficult decision to leave the medical industry. And so under the suggestion of my husband, because I do love to travel, because it's always a fun time to travel.
Yes.
I pursued the opportunity of owning a travel franchise. So here we are. I left the world of fulfilling needs of patients to hopefully fulfilling the dreams of clients and helping them travel and making memories. And I love what I do. I mean, hey, I have one of the best jobs in the world again. I get to help people travel the world and never leave my desk. So
Right.
wonderful.
When you and I were getting to know each other and you said you made this big career leap and then you start the company and boom, there's COVID. So how did, that was a bit of a slowdown, shutdown. How did you navigate through that time?
That was that was, who would have thought? I thought I was making the right decision, and I know I did, but it was amazing that here I bought a travel franchise, started getting into the thick of it, had these trips planned, and then boom, COVID totally shut down and crippled the travel industry. For literally about 2 years, the
Wow.
travel industry was shut down. So what I did to make the best of the time to help myself, but more importantly, truly help the clients, was I got credentialed with all of my cruise lines, with the resorts such as Sandals and Beaches, and became certified sales specialist in those areas because this was a new avenue for me. And by learning those businesses, those resorts, those different cruise lines and what they can offer, that was going to make me a better person to talk about it, to educate my clients on what those cruise lines had to offer or what those properties had to offer. So that's just basically what I had to do. And now travel business is booming, and it's great because I feel like I can actually talk about those properties. And had I not utilized that time, I would not be able to talk about the cruise lines or the properties like I can.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, let's
Yeah.
talk a minute about misconceptions. what are some of the things that you've discovered that, maybe people don't have the right mindset? Should I hire a travel advisor? So tell us about that a minute.
I get this question all the time, and that is, how much does it cost for me to use you? Or are you going to add a markup to the overall cost if I use you? And that answer is no, absolutely not. It does not cost you a penny more to use a travel advisor or to use my service. Quite honestly, you're going to be better off because we have access to so many different sales, so many different travel benefits that you may not be able to find on your own. I mean, we are a service oriented business. We actually get compensated by the supplier. They have a set percentage of which they pay the travel advisors to go get business for them. So it never comes out of your pocket as the client. Um, you also have someone that's there for you 24/7 should something go wrong. So,
Mhm.
consider it a concierge type service for you. And this is a true example. I have clients right now in London, and I got a text on Saturday because they had a ticket for an excursion that they were going to do. The ticket said one time that the excursion started, but they had an itinerary from the supplier that showed a different time. So they were not sure which time they were supposed to show up. I wasn't totally absolutely sure. I thought I knew, but I
Mhm.
had to call the supplier in London and find this out for them because that line was only for travel advisors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was able to confirm and get back to them and let them know exactly what time they needed to show up, and everything was fine. But had you used maybe an online service, they're not always
Right.
open on weekends.
Well,
So
that
I
peace of mind is huge that you just mentioned. That's a big plus to have that support.
Absolutely. And that is the thing. If you come to Cruise Planners, a fun time to travel, Regina, we will be there for you. That is our commitment to our clients.
What are some of the hot trips you're booking these days? You see any trends?
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's a good one. Naturally, cruises are always popular, and there's a couple, popular cruise lines right now. Icon of the Seas is a very large cruise ship right now that's hot. They all are great. I can't, depends on whether you want river or you want
Mhm.
ocean. It's just Icon is the largest cruise ship at sea right now. Um, Couple of popular spots are the Dominican Republic. That is a
Hmm.
very, very popular spot right now. The Caribbean. You can never go wrong with the Caribbean, whether you want to do St. Lucia, whether you want to do Turks and Caicos. Those are always great places. Costa Rica. I've gotten a couple of trips right now to Costa Rica. That seems to be a really big place. And then, you know, your sandals resorts are always popular for your couples and your honeymooners, and then your beaches properties for families. So it just depends on what you really want to
Right.
do.
Yeah, and
So
we're
yeah,
so fortunate living in Charlotte. We have such a big airport, and so it's that makes it such a plus to not have to worry about all the extra legs and everything with traveling to most of these spots. How far
amen.
in advance should someone call you for planning a trip, a good trip?
If you're looking at doing let's say a week long trip to somewhere, say in the Caribbean, or a good cruise that's a very popular one, I would say a good 9 to 12 months.
Okay.
And the reason I'm saying that is because things do get booked up. But I'm also going to step back and say it depends on the time of when you're wanting to do it. If you're
Hmm.
looking at something over a holiday, Or if you're looking at something that's maybe over spring break, you do want to try to do that a little bit early. If you're looking at something that's maybe on an off-peak time, then you don't have to do it as early because it may not be as booked as quickly. But I have had clients that call and say, I want to book something over Christmas, and they may do it in October. That's your rates are going to be higher.
Yeah.
If I do find something, it's probably going to be maybe not the cabin category or maybe not the room type that you want. So you have to keep that in mind. But I would say if it's a popular destination, if it is a holiday, you might want to do about 9 to 12 months ahead of time.
And then a friend of mine went on a river cruise. It's the water levels, right? Don't you have to go certain time of year and consider that?
It depends. It depends on where you're going. But a lot of these river cruises, if you're talking about the locks and all that, they can navigate some of those. So it does depend.
Okay.
But river cruises for, let's say, my age have become very popular. The river cruises are very popular. If it's someone that gets a little bit of motion sickness, the river cruises are great options for those type of people. So those are very popular right now, quite honestly.
So what is your favorite standout trip that you've taken?
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, if you have to narrow it down to one, that's going to be really hard.
Right, that is going to be difficult. People will probably go, really? This would be your favorite one? Just to let everybody know a little bit about me, I love marine life. So I've always had a saltwater tank. Right now, it's not at its best, so I probably shouldn't brag about that. But so I love fish, and if you've never been to the Atlantis in the Bahamas, it's got a beautiful aquarium. It has a bridge that has sharks under it.
Oh, cool.
I love Atlantis in the Bahamas because it's an easy trip from Charlotte. The flight, rather, is very easy. And we've been with our son when he was younger and as he got a little bit older. So the memories there for me have been fabulous. And it's a beautiful beach. It's beautiful ocean. So probably I love the Atlantis in the Bahamas just because it's an easy trip and it's beautiful.
Where do you want to go that you haven't been to?
Oh, very good question. And I'm going to say the Greek Isles. As much as I've planned that for people, Regina, I have never been. And if I could just pin it on a map, that is where I want to go on my next big trip.
Well, I have no doubt you have the ability to get yourself there. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. Let's wrap up by telling our listeners, how do they get in touch with you?
Got several ways you can do it. And guys, come on, please let me help you make your travel dreams a reality. I am so thrilled to say that I have brought on a new associate that was also in the medical world with me. Her name is Kelly Franklin, and she is phenomenal. She also has that background of attention to detail. So you can go to our website at www.funtimetotravel.com. You can reach me at 704-293-4467 is my cell. And on that Fun Time to Travel website, there are both of our phone numbers and our emails listed. But my email is ashley.capreol@cruiseplanners.com. And I would love to hear from all of you. And again, it's always a fun time to travel.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Regina.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpsouthcharlotte.com. That's gnpsouthcharlotte.com or call 980-351